This is the 2024 GMC Acadia. Why am I so excited? Well, not that long ago, we told you about the redesign of the Acadia. It's 11 inches longer. It has more interior space for passengers. It has a lot of great new technology. It has an AT4 version, which is designed for off-road. The Denali is more Denali than ever, and there is improved room for rear-facing child passenger car seats. Yep, there is more space for child passenger car seats, and that is not only in the second row behind the passenger, but it's also behind the driver. We measured, I'll show you what that looks like, but families who are wondering how you're going to fit 2 kids in rear-facing car seats, there is an answer right here. On the outside, the GMC Acadia got a whole new look, top to bottom, headlights, grille, tail lights, the whole 9 yards. On the inside, everything is all new too. The GMC Acadia has a starting price of just over $50,000. With the one that we're testing right here comes in at about $57,000. The Denali goes a little bit higher, but here's the great news. There's only 4 trims. There's Elevation, Elevation Premium, AT4, which is the off-road version, and Denali, which is the top of the line. And each one is really well optioned. There is leatherette or leather. There are great features. There's a 16-inch interior screen. There is built-in Google navigation, trailering if you would like. If you take the trailering package, up to 5,000 pounds of towing. There is Super Cruise available on every single one of these models. It's a $3,500 upcharge, but well worth it if that's what you need. Things like head-up display, and then of course, interior seating that fits your whole family. Let's take a look and see what's new in the 2024 GMC Acadia. The GMC Acadia has been completely redesigned for the 2024 model year. It has a new grille. Ours has this AT4 logo there. Ours also has recovery hooks on the front. They are real recovery hooks, GMC assures us. And that is because if you need to pull someone out of the mud or be towed out, you need those recovery hooks. The headlights actually mimic the tail lights. There are new, really beautiful fog lights there, and there is a light signature that I'll show you. Our AT4 version has all-terrain tires. They are standard. They are designed for off-roading. You'll notice the AT4 logo there on the side. There are reflectors over the wheel wells, which are clad in black composite material, as well as along the lower parts of the car and the bumper, so that if you are off-roading, you're not damaging your car with rocks and mud and things like that. On the rear is the GMC logo there. You'll see Acadia all-wheel drive here, and then the AT4 logo there. And then this is a cool detail. These exhaust tip pipes, they call them exhaust tips, the boys do, are actually based on the ones that you'll find on the Corvette C8. And then there's this. The tail lights are actually designed to mimic the headlights. So they sort of have that same framing C shape, an inverted C shape along the tailgate. Our AT4 version of the GMC Acadia comes equipped with roof rails, larger windows, so you'll notice there's actually a really nice large window there for rear seat passengers. And ours is equipped with a panoramic sunroof. It's a $1,500 addition on this model, but it is a nice feature to have, especially on a cold, cloudy, gross day when everybody needs a little more light and sunshine. First thing it gets is points for flexibility. Changing my mind, need to go a different way, and super easy. The next thing it gets points for is this head-up display. So the head-up display is standard equipment on the Denali. I believe it's standard also on this trim, which is the AT4. So this is the one that we were off-roading in, which when I say off-roading, I mean driving really fast on grass, on gravel and sand, and it's super fun. So I really enjoyed that. And now I'm going to show you around the interior, but I want to take you on a little drive first. We did some Super Cruise driving earlier today, and now we're going to drive through this lovely neighborhood here near Hilton Head, South Carolina. So it's been a great day driving around the low country of South Carolina in the GMC Acadia. It is a really nicely done car, and you're going to notice if you buy this car, you're the early recipient of a lot of things that GMC is doing with their cars. Super Cruise is an option. You do have to pay for it. It's about $3,000 on top of the price of the car. But if you road trip, if you drive long distances, if you have regular holiday travel in your car, if you go on family vacations with your kids, and I know I log 20,000 miles a year driving family vacations, totally worth the investment. Completely recommend it. If all you're ever doing is carpools around town, probably not worth it. But once you buy it though, you do also have the option of packaging it when you need it. So once your initial term runs out, which is 3 years, then you can buy it for $25 a month. So say, your kids are a little older, you're not doing those road trips anymore, maybe you're doing more air travel on family vacations and things like that. But then you decide, you know what, we're going to do that last drive to Disney, or we're going to do that drive to the Grand Canyon. So buy the Super Cruise for the month and let the car drive you to the Grand Canyon instead of you white knuckling the highway the whole way there. Totally love that idea. And I also love the idea that you can buy into the technology now and you can subscribe to it when you want. Same thing with OnStar. They give you certain OnStar services for life, but if you want the enhanced services for a certain period of time, you can increase your subscription. Same thing with Wi-Fi. If you don't need Wi-Fi all the time, but say you do want it on that long family trip so everybody can just use the Wi-Fi in the car and not exhaust your phone plan, then you can do that as well. So, and you get a better signal because of the antenna on the roof versus the antenna down here in the, down here in the car, whatever, say connecting to Apple CarPlay. So it does give you some options, and I appreciate that because it's nice to have flexibility when you're thinking about how you're going to let everybody watch the movies that they want to watch, when you're going to drive 12 hours by yourself and that kind of thing. It's really nice to have options. So let's use Super Cruise. So Super Cruise, there's 3 things to look for. This band here either needs to be red, which means take the wheel, blue, which means all systems are go, but Super Cruise is not in use, and green means it's in use. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on my cruise control, which I will see right here. There's a little white thing there, and you see the steering wheel, and then I'm going to get to the speed that I want, and I'm going to tap Super Cruise, and you'll see cruise braking on, and I have this green bar here at the top of the steering wheel. And now I can drive hands-free, eyes forward, because there's a camera here that is monitoring me. It's not taking pictures or anything like that. No privacy will be violated, but it is looking to make sure that my eyes are on the road. And if something happens, whether there's maybe the markings are gone on the road, if I enter into an area that's not mapped, if a car pulls in front of me really quickly, something unexpected happens, then this bar will turn red and it will tell me to take the wheel. Now you might notice, okay, so here it's telling me that I need to take the wheel, and it also just changed lanes for me, which is a very interesting thing. So there's a setting in the multimedia system that I can turn on or off automatic lane change. And what that means is when that is on, if I'm not driving at my set speed and there's room in the lane next to me to get over and drive at my set speed, it will just change lanes for me. So knowing that is really important. The first time that that system activates and you have no idea that it's doing it, it's a little weird. So it's good to know that it's doing that. And then once you get used to it, then you're just kind of paying attention and letting it do its thing, and it's really good. And I'm gonna just set it again. Super Cruise unavailable because the road is not mapped. Let's try that again. Super Cruise not available, no road information. So this road isn't mapped. So unfortunately now I have to do the driving myself. So let's talk about what's new in the GMC Acadia for 2024. So first of all, you're going to see everything is new. There is this really large 16-inch multimedia system. It's a vertical screen. Some other cars you might see have screen across. GMC's designers decided that this was the way to go. And you're going to see this distinctive screen in more GMCs in the future. Another thing that you're going to see up here in the front seat is this. So this is the digital rear view camera. If you've got butts in all those seats back there, and you can see there's the reflective view, you see the camera, but if you've got passengers in the rear or cargo in the cargo space, you can just flip this and you get that full view. It's a camera view. It's great at night. It's much brighter than the reflective view. In fact, look at how bright that is versus that. The difference is pretty stunning. Now, I will say it takes a little getting used to have your eyes adjust to using that. But once you get used to it, it's really good. And this is a feature that typically you'll find packaged together with Super Cruise. This might be one of my very favorite features. Panoramic sunroof. You get all the views, all the light, all the gorgeousness let inside the car when the sunroof is open. Don't you love that? What else do you get on the interior of the GMC Acadia? So the next thing I want to show you, and you are truly looking at the road from my eye view, and I like my seat up a little high, so I'll show you. This is where I am. This is how much headroom I have. I like a really nice high view. So this is sort of my eye line here. I'm looking at the top of the steering wheel. Here is the projection box for the head-up display. But look at that nice wide view of the road. This was by design. The dashboard actually is kind of low here. The hood over the driver display is set low. They actually lowered all the airbags and the glove box. They lowered this portion here. Even though this is a really tall vertical screen, it's actually lowered so you have less glare on the screen, but also more visibility of the road. I really like that. Now let's talk about interior details. So we have, they call this PVC, but this is actually like a coated piece here that's designed to mimic maybe a machined metal, and then soft touch materials here. So it's kind of plastic, but it should be easy to clean. This is the AT4 edition. And then we have this really nice woven fabric here and the soft touch materials and a contrasting stitch. Let's talk about the seating in the Acadia AT4. So they've actually come up with something that's really great for off-roaders and adventurers and families, anybody who's going to maybe spill or wear these seats pretty hard. And that's perforated because these are heated and cooled. And then there's multiple materials. They sort of layered not only the materials, but the look. So it starts with sort of a smooth leatherette here. It's not actual leather with the AT4 logo embossed there. And then perforated seats here with contrast stitching, so mahogany and red, and perforated here. But notice it's also these panel, sort of quilted panels or stitched panels to give you actual support. And then there's bolsters here to give you nice support too. These bolsters are upholstered in fabric, you can see that. And then you can see the contrast stitching and the piping. And all of this is designed to not only look really good, but give you a lot of support in a material that's going to be easy to clean. So if you're wanting to know how to turn on Hey Google, it's actually not on in this car. So you go to settings, so that under home, settings. This was a little tricky because normally I would think it would be assistant and voice or display or something like that. No, it's over here under Google and then Google Assistant, and I can tap that. Now I can also set up these other things, allow suggestions from Assistant, get notifications, read and respond to vehicle notifications. So I have other things that I can set up in here. And now that it's all set up, I can do this. Hey Google, and there she is. Change the cabin temperature to 62 degrees. Okay, changing the temperature to 62 degrees. Isn't that lovely? So good, so good. I love a voice assistant. And then up here, let's also talk about the screen. So here I can set up the screen however I'd like. If I want to customize it, I can just tap that little pencil. It's very much like a tablet or a computer. The kind of things you're used to, you'll find here. there is my navigation, and up here is a phone. There's a little phone icon right there, so I can connect a phone. Down here, there are more controls. So this is actually sort of a fast action or fast access control to, if I want to customize my head-up display, power windows, if I want to turn off the windows so the kids can't roll down the windows or the dog. If I need my camera really quickly, I can access it there. I can turn on or off traction control, park assist, auto high beams. So this is set it and forget it headlights. Once you turn them on, they're just on, and if there's an oncoming car or truck or a human, they will go into low beams, and then otherwise they're high beam, which is really nice. Hill descent control, fog lights, auto assist, and then see more controls. And this is where I have even more function for doors and windows, lights, drive and park, universal remote. So all of these things, anything that somebody is telling you, whether it's a dealer or an automotive journalist, you see it on YouTube, those functions are all going to be in here if the car has it. Look at your Monroney sticker or the window sticker and make sure that you have those things. This is my lane keep assist, so I can tap that to turn it off or on. And then here are my headlights. So this is important if you're the kind of person who likes your headlights on for, say, unpacking a car or assembling something, and you want those headlights on at night, and then you get out of the car and they turn off automatically. You can just tap this and they will stay on. You can tap this to turn on your fog lights, and then you can tap that to set them to auto. This way you'll be able to, they're just on all the time. Or you can turn them off if you want to. But it's important to note that the control for your headlights is right here on this screen. It is not over here anywhere. If you look all around over here, you're not going to see where the headlights are. So this is to set the auto lift gate. So settings, we want to go to vehicle, and then we want to go to comfort and convenience, and hands-free exterior storage access. You can turn that off or you can turn it to open. And this is when you walk up behind it, and with the key in the proximity near the lift gate, it will open for you. And then down here is a static bar, which means just set toolbar for climate. And nicely, we have buttons for these things. So I can actually change the temperature. I can raise or lower the temperature, raise or lower the fan speed, turn it off, turn on the defroster. And then I can turn on or off the AC circulating. And this is vented and heated. So I can turn on the heat or I can turn on the venting. I don't think you can do both at once. It's one or the other. So that's how you do that. And I found this to be cumbersome because it's not, you don't just tap it and it works. You actually have to tap it and this. But then you could do this, and this was great. Hey, Google, turn on the driver's side cooled seat.
All right, turning on the seat cooling for the driver.
So, and it's worth noting that it is cooled, not vented, which means you actually get cold air coming through the perforations and into your, cooling your rear end. On a hot day like this, that is a very welcome feature. There is an 11-inch driver display here. Oh, and it's telling me the people are walking around the side of the car, which is a pretty cool feature. You can customize it using this little button down here. Some of our drive mode features are over on this side, including our all-wheel drive, which you can turn on or off. You can use two-wheel drive, which is more fuel efficient, or all-wheel drive if that's what you would like. And our drive mode selector that allows us to toggle through drive, off-road, all-terrain, the terrain setting, and tow and haul. So whichever it is that you would like, you have that option there. And that's over here. Another thing that you're going to see is the gear selector is here. So you pull it back towards you and down for drive, up for reverse. The cool thing about putting this back on the steering column, the stock gear selector on the steering column, is it frees up all this space down here. So now we have this nice large cubby down here, and we also have space here. So we have a wireless phone charger, a cubby to place a phone to charge. We have cup holders here and an armrest with a nice deep space there and a tray, so you can actually stow a few things in here if you would like as well. Air vents are here, here, and on either side. Really good air vents in the second and third row. And let's go take a look at that. The GMC Acadia is 11 inches longer than the outgoing model, which means that there is more passenger space and more legroom. And where you're going to see that really is in flexibility in the center row seats. So these seats are designed to move forward and back. There are two full sets of car seat latches, one here and one here. There are none in the third row. The seats do recline a little bit, so not a ton, but they do recline. So if you've got center row passengers and no one in the third row and somebody wants to lay back and take a nap, they absolutely can. Center row passengers are going to find a lot of comforts. So there are climate controls here. Our outlets are here. The vents are here on the ceiling. We have some nice materials here, speakers in the door, bottle pockets, cup holders. So everything that you want and need, and even an armrest, which is really nice. But the real question is, how comfortable are third row passengers going to be? Well, let's take a look. So now I've got plenty of space to climb in here, and not so bad, I will say. Although this seat comes back too far for me to sit behind it. My knee is here right in the middle of the seat. That's where my knee comes to. So I cannot sit behind this seat comfortably, but I can sit in the middle seat, and there is a middle seat here. So the seatbelt for it is right here, tucked into the ceiling. And so if I do need to sit in the third row, I like the idea of captain's chairs because I have the comfort of not only being able to extend my legs out into the center here, but also of being a part of the cabin and feeling like I'm actually not that far away from all the other passengers. With the bench seat, I do feel sort of shut off from the rest of the conversation in the car. These seats also can be pushed forward a little bit. What do you get back here for third row passengers? Well, there are some nice features. There's a USB port on either side, there's a cup holder, and there is a little box on either side that's big enough to hold a tablet. There are vents in the ceiling, and I celebrate these vents in the ceiling because these are great. When you have hot, sweaty passengers back here, the last thing they want is to be shut off from the air conditioner or have to wait for those vents in the center row or worse in the front to get that air all the way back here. So we don't have that problem because we have vents here. We also have these really nice large windows. You can see there, you can see there, and the sunroof comes all the way to right here. So I will have that sense of not only light and air space overhead, but also third row passengers get the best view of the sunroof from the entire car. It is not only overhead, but you get to see everything. I really like that a lot too. What I do love is this. I can lift this tab here, and that gives me the opportunity to slide that seat out of the way. I can do that with a child car seat installed, but not with a passenger in it. And it is a great feature, especially if you're sitting back here in the third row. So this is the GMC Acadia we're going to install our child passenger car seat in. This is the elevation trim, so it's the base model. Everything you see in here applies to the Denali and the AT4. We are looking at captain's chairs. So we have a forward-facing toddler seat or older kid seat, and it converts to a booster. So I don't have a rear-facing car seat, but I will measure for a rear-facing car seat to show you how that's going to fit too. So this is the seat we're going to install. It is a Graco Protect Plus seat. This is a convertible booster seat. So this is really for an older kid. Think about 4 or 5 years old to probably about 8 years old, and something in the 30 pounds plus. So not the toddler seat. And it has the tether. See, the latch connectors are here, and then there's a tether here. One of the things I really love is I can easily connect the latch connectors right there, and that is just super simple. And let me show you in a little bit of a close-up what that looks like. So then with this seat, you just pull on this to attach to make sure that you've tightened the latch, and then you can actually plug this one in here. I love how easy and accessible that is. And then I can tighten that by pulling this strap. So now we want to get a nice tight fit. So I'm gonna do that and show you what that looks like. And then I also have the back tether that's gonna go on the back of this seat. So now I have this part completely as tight as it's gonna go, I think. And actually, I could probably get it a little bit tighter if I recline the seat back a little bit and nestle this back in there. And that gives me a little more leverage. And then pull this back. And okay, so that's good. But now I've got to do the back part. So now I'm going to latch this in here and pull this strap up tight. And now we have a good, solid, tight install on our child passenger car seat. Now, here's the next test, and that is pushing this seat forward with the car seat in it. So all I do is lift this tab on the shoulder, and that's how it moves forward with the car seat in it. And now I may exit the car stage left. Actually, I think that's stage right. So the last piece of it is to put your weight in the seat and tighten this strap on the side, and you get a super solid, tight install. So, and I showed you this, what it's like to put this seat forward with the car seat installed, and I'll show you that again, because that is super easy and really impressive. So with a forward-facing car seat installed, you can easily move the seat forward, and you can grab this little bar here and move it backward if you need to, if you need more space. But what we didn't talk about was installing a rear-facing child passenger car seat. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Now, I don't have that seat, and this is not the right kind of seat, but I am going to show you what you need is about 30 inches, 29 to 32 inches is ideal. This seat is all the way back. I'm going to measure shoulder to shoulder, 35 inches. This seat here is set for my driving position. That's why I'm showing you here to here. This is set for me. I am 5'8", and actually if I lower it so it's really level, it's 34.5 inches. So 34.5 inches is enough room for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. And if you need to put this seat a little bit forward so that you have room for leg room for rear seat passengers, so there's 3 positions, and this is that was, let's see, that's the closest. I'll move it back 1. And so this is not the closest, but almost. And what do we have? We still have 31 inches, and I will show you. We still have 31 inches. So a lot of room for a child passenger car seat. What that also means is that if you have a passenger who's taller, so this seat looks like it's really set for someone who's about 6 feet tall. We still have 29 inches, which is still plenty of space for a rear-facing child passenger car seat to sit behind a person who is 6 feet tall. Now, that's pretty impressive. And that means if you need 2, you have room for 2. If you need 3, you actually have room for 3. Now, I'm going to show you what these measurements look like here. So the seat width is 16 inches. So 16 inches from the seat bite to the seat edge. We get about 3 inches overhang there. And we also have about 2 inches on either side. I will say the way that these latches are configured here with this really nice flat space, being able to reach them, even with the tether latches versus the rigid latches, was really easy. So here's a feature that I really like. And that is I can lock the car, I can walk away, taking the key with me. So I only have to walk far enough away so that the car notices that I am no longer in proximity, but you can hear me. And then when I approach the rear of the car, and you do have to walk up right behind it, and have the key here in proximity, and you'll hear it beep and you'll see the taillights flash, and it will open automatically. And I love this because I don't have to kick my foot under the bumper in the parking lot and not know where the sensor is. So I don't have to do that. It knows that I'm here and it just opens the door. I can also press a button up here to close the door when I'm ready to close it, or I can use the key fob, press the button twice and it will close. But before I do that, I want to show you the cargo area. Let me show you around the cargo area. It's quite large. And then this bin here almost doubles the cargo area in the GMC Acadia. So that's pretty nice. We have guides here if you want to add a cargo cover. The seats are kind of old style. So just pull that strap and they fold down. Ours are not going to go all the way down because our center seats are pulled too far back. And then pull it back here to put it back into place. There is a good amount of cargo space behind that third row. In addition to all that cargo space, it's also a really good tailgating space. So not super high ground clearance, but high enough. It's nice to have the tailgate overhead in case it's sunny or it's rainy or cold. You know the benefits of that. Nice space here, and it's easy to hop up into. Now, these are manual seats, so they're kind of old school, but that's great. This is the AT4 edition. These manual seats and not having the mechanical power seats keeps the cost down and also keeps reliability up because there's not a lot of electrical components to get corroded or corrupted by water, dirt, and other things. But we do still have this, which I do appreciate, and that is a power lift gate. So now we're gonna drive through that. We're gonna put it in terrain mode. So there's off-road and there's terrain. And this is basically low mode. So this will allow me to really drive and get tires off the road here. You can see those big ruts we're gonna drive through. Alrighty, let's do this. This is gonna be crazy. Okay, so we are in terrain mode. Woohoo! And these are crazy little hills here. Oh, look, you can see the front camera came on. Oh, whoa! And they also have this new damping system here that is designed to keep you from thumping down on as you come down off of one of these humps. And sometimes when you're off-roading, you'll hear that. You'll hear a big clunk, and that's because it's rebound. And so this is anti-rebound damping is what they've added. So that wasn't so bad, was it? Woohoo! Okay, now we're still in off-road mode. There's some sand and it's kind of slidey, so I can really feel
Take the next right on
the car
Road,
giving me a little like swing there. There's one of our compadres, and I can get some dust like that too if I want to.
For 1 mile.
I'm gonna let his dust clear a little bit, and then I'm gonna create some dust of my own. I guess you don't want to go blowing into the dust, right? It's hard to see. So now we're back on this sandy road. Look how beautiful this is, by the way, you guys. This is pretty, whoa. So because I'm in off-road mode and all-terrain mode, I guess, off-road mode, and I can't drive quite as fast on this road because it's deep sand. So if you're, at the beach or someplace where there's no pavement and often you think you need four-wheel drive for that kind of deep sand, but actually you don't. You just need traction on all four wheels and the right kind of tires. And we have all-terrain tires on this truck. So all seasons or slicker tires are not going to perform as well, but these tires are designed for this kind of driving. So that's a really nice feature as well. If you find yourself on these deep rutted roads, especially soft sand, the right kind of tires and the right kind of off-road mode are important. And you could feel the car. You could see the car moving side to side, right? You could see where the car was going this way, my hands were going that way. And that is that deep sand and hitting a high point with one tire and a low point with another. And the car will, it will adjust. It will go with the gravity and the velocity of the car. So your job as a driver is you've got to keep it on track and where you need to go. And that can be a challenge. It's great to have that system helping you out. So now I'm in off-road mode, I've been driving in some sand. I appreciate the ability to feel that you have traction on all four tires on a sandy road. If you've ever driven on the sand, you know what I mean. And now we're driving on this gravel road. And, you know, it's an unpaved road, but I can go 40 or 50 miles an hour. Maybe we'll say we could go 30 miles an hour. I think GMC probably would like that better. But here's the thing. Whatever the road holds, you're able to do that. And it feels pretty good. Now, I will say I'm in off-road mode. And what off-road mode does is it gives me traction on every tire, every wheel, so that I'm not sort of digging a hole with one and leaving a rut for somebody else who might come after me, or worse, getting stuck. So I'm able to have all the traction I need for whatever the road holds. And I appreciate that. And it's nice to actually get through this quickly and not take all day to drive down a single mile of unpaved road. So we spent a lot of time driving the AT4 edition, great for off-road, great for that active lifestyle. But what if your active lifestyle is more about luxury and fine resorts and family road trips and details that really make your life rich? Well, that's what the Denali is all about. Let me show you what the Denali is all about, what it has in store for you. And here's the cool thing. Before we start looking, just consider this. Almost everything I'm going to show you is standard. Yes, standard. Inside the Acadia Denali, there is a lot to love. In fact, I'll pull out my phone and pop it into the wireless phone charger, and that's just the start. Almost everything except for the panoramic sunroof and the premium Bose sound system is standard in this car. In the elevation trim, which is the base model, that is leatherette, so it's not real leather, although honestly, I don't think you would be able to tell the difference. It's really beautiful. Digital rear view mirror and 3 rows of seating with powered seats, and I'm going to show you what the powered seats look like too, because that is probably worth the price of admission, which is about $57,000 for this particular model, just for the powered seats when you're using that 3rd row every day. Come on, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So once you have pushed the seat, now what the power button does is actually just releases the seat and lifts it up a little bit. If there is a child or a person sitting in the seat, they're not going to be tossed into the seat, into the seat in front, which is kind of nice. And then to put it back into position, you just push it. The whole thing works really easily. There is a lever here on the bottom, and you can use that to actually position the seat forward or back. And there's a button back here as well. So rear passengers, when they want to get out of the car, instead of, if they can't use the pass-through or don't want to, they can push this button and then easily just push this seat forward. I really like this system. It doesn't do too much for you, but it gives you all the function that you need. And if you have a daily use 3rd row, if you need that 3rd row every day, that's a really great function to have. I think it's worth the price of admission. And then let's look at how the seats fold flat. So there's one. I'm going to go over and fold the rear seats flat and show you what that looks like. Our Denali version has these really beautiful quilted seats, quilted leather seats, and armrests that pull down. So you can have your armrests or not. And there's seating for 3, a bench for 3. In the 3rd row. The 3rd row bench does not have child passenger car seat latches, but we do have 2 full sets of latches here in the center. And they're nice and exposed, so if you have rigid car seat latch connectors, you can just slide them in and away they go. Another thing that's really notable and nice about the GMC Acadia, we're in the Denali version, but it's true with all of them, is there's a lot of light back here. So we have some really big windows for 3rd row passengers. The changes to the GMC Acadia for 2024 are really welcome. It is larger, it has more room for people. The 3rd row is really usable now, and it's well priced and well outfitted for the price. So it starts at about $46,000. You can add all-wheel drive or not. Some versions like the AT4 have all-wheel drive standard. Top of the line Denali, once you add all the goodies, comes in a hair just under $60,000. All in all, the changes to the GMC Acadia are quite welcome, and everyone who sits in these seats is going to welcome them too.